Why don't you go ahead and grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee, because we just might have a fix inside this bag right here for the Losi DBXLE 2.0. Let's check it out.
Send it.
Guy, you didn't just seriously say send it.
Something's broken. Oh no. You know what? I know it broke. Well, anyway, DBXLE 2.0, it rips. That hub was kind of like waiting for destruction. That thing had already been blown apart before. What's insane, my galvanized nail is still holding up. Unbelievable. So anyways, yeah, let's just make it over to the truck. I'm getting winded here, guy. Previously, just like you saw in the clip, we had a little bit of an issue with the front hub. To no fault of the actual vehicle itself. If you want to blame somebody, you can blame me right here. This right here was my redneck, just get her done kind of fix, and it finally failed because we did take it to diamond dust. Now, like I said, I can't fault that part for, like, the damage that you see right here. This thing has been taking an absolute beating for a number of rips to where I'm actually shocked that that part lasts as long as it did. Now, probably throwing the Pro lines on there and then ultimately launching the vehicle like I did is what inevitably caused the part to fail. So anyways, we're just going to bust open this bag and we're going to see what's inside. All right, so we did get a package in. This package is actually from Liquid RC that I'm getting a lot of these parts from. And the shipping, because they're located in, I think, New Hampshire, yeah, this stuff actually comes pretty fast. So the part number on this, right there, the aluminum steering knuckles, you can't even see it. I don't know what's up with the focus on here. Well, anyways, there you go. You just have to, like, take my word for it. It's like 70-something bucks or something around there. Can't remember exactly what it was, but it definitely seemed like a very stout repair for this vehicle. So I'll just kind of crack this open, show you what's inside. Obviously, we know that, you know, when you deal with parts like this from hot racing, seemingly the quality is, like, right there, dead on. So, looking at the machining of, obviously, this piece, definitely a lot more stout than what was there. One of the things that I guess sold me on this, and this was, again, a recommendation by Earl Moorhead, one of the things that sold me on this was point blank, this replaceable arm. This is made out of a pretty thick piece of carbon fiber. Getting my caliper on it, you can see the caliper is pretty much zeroed out. Well, it was. Caliper zeroed out. Just wanted to get a thickness of this arm right here. We're coming in at about just a touch over 6 millimeters for the thickness of this piece of carbon fiber. So it also has like a nice little insert right there for the steering. It also comes with bearings. So you've got 8 sets of bearings or 2 sets of 4 for the top and bottom of each one of these knuckles. Actually, looks like it's a double stack. You know what? That's a double stack of bearings. So you're double stacking bearings on the top and bottom of this, not like top and bottom, but you're putting a double stack of bearings inside of there. So yeah, let's just get to work on this thing. Conveniently, from the bass session, the bearings and the shaft and everything was very conveniently removed for me. I do have rubber boots to go ahead and replace these destroyed rubber boots. Obviously from the bash. This may have actually been previously existing. This one right here most likely tore just because, yeah, because of damage. So first we're going to take off that wheel nut. Something I wanted to show you about this was the fact that I'm running the Pro Line X Max tires and wheels, and I did bore out that, obviously, that center bore But if you notice, my lug nuts are actually still intact. And the reason why those lug nuts were still intact is because of this wrench right here. Now, I actually think this wrench came with my Outcast 8S. Now, the Losi tool, which is this one right here, while it's awesome, it's honking. Problem is that because it's got such a massive path and being aluminum, you'll end up having to grind off those lug nuts, the fake lug nuts on the wheels, unless you have a tool like this. Sometimes, I'm telling you, it's not always the premium tool that gets the job done. Sometimes it's the piece of garbage, stamped, rolled, steel, something. Yeah, pretty crazy. So hopefully I can actually crank this off, because I'll tell you right now, this is on there. There we go. Not too bad. And if you can see, it kind of has that kind of indexed kind of deal going on. But obviously, once you get to a certain point, it does free up, and then the entire thing can come off. And I did actually throw a little bit of thread lock on here just in case. So you can see how I used a step bit, and I basically just stepped out the center bore so that these X-Max tires and wheels, or Hex configuration, whatever you want to call it, would actually fit this actual Hex itself, because the Hex itself is one of those ones that you call a 24mm Hex. So works out perfect. Now we've got this apart, we can pull about the bearings. All right, so we're going to go ahead and obviously pull this Hex so that we can dismantle the setup. I want people to be aware that the pin that they're actually seeing in here, you can see like my edges are oddly like filed down. This is what I consider a hybrid. So this is one of those, I think FID or FLM or one of those axles that was in a kit that I bought. And for me, what I ended up doing was, because initially on my repair, I didn't have the pin because it was lost, I took a galvanized nail, cut it down, and then filed the edges so it actually fit inside. Now, there is a little bit of looseness, and that's just from, I guess you want to say, typical wear. But I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna leave this pin in here, and one day, maybe I might continue replacing this and get this away from being a hybrid, but this is a hybrid axle. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and pull that pin, taking the set screw out of there, that'll allow that pin to come loose, be able to pop off the Hex, pull out the bearings, and then we can go ahead and load the new arm with bearings. Oh, conveniently, they're also marked left and right. And of course, which one am I working on? The left side. So at least we got that right. So I'm going to go ahead and fit my 24mm on there. Can't remember what the size of the set screw is inside. Definitely not a 2. Definitely not a 2.5. It's definitely a 3. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a crank. Now the pin itself should be able to pop through. Mine actually might be locked. Oh, it's not Loctited. I thought I had Loctited my pin. I have a tendency to go ahead and put a little bit of Loctite in there. I'm not sure why I do that. I think maybe in my mind I'm thinking it's just like that extra kind of like protection. So make sure you clean all your parts once you disassemble things. So now the Hex itself should slide off pretty easy. I will go ahead and clean this piece with a paper towel. I'm going to slide off the bearings. I'm going to check the condition of the bearings. Watch out for your shims. There are shims in here. At least I have shims in mine. So you can see how there's a shim on that back side. So I had a shim on the front and back side of mine. And it looks like that's about it. Do you have to chew your bone behind me? Lunatic. Alright, so that's all cleaned up. There is, like I said, there is some play. And granted, that was a galvanized nail. But to be quite honest with you, I'm okay with that amount of play. Look at where the play is. the play is more in and out than it is side to side, which is pretty nuts. So I want to say, like, that was a pretty good repair right there from RC Guy Garage. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull these boots off. These are pieces of garbage right now. I do have brand new ones. So, and it is kind of a pain to get the brand new boots on. I use a combination of hairspray and brute force and kind of somewhat a little bit of luck to get the to basically get the boots kind of to come over the pins. It's kind of a pain. Probably easier if you disassemble this side right here and pull the boot actually over that smooth side, because obviously you're going over something that's small, and that actually might be something that I do like literally right now. And then maybe what we could do is we could actually check the pin condition. Let's move this over to the sunlight. So I don't know if you can see that any better. Maybe in the sunlight, maybe it's making it worse. I don't know. Is it worse? Yeah, it's worse. All right. Anyways, tried to move over to the sun. Doesn't seem to help. But we're gonna pop that screw right there. I might need a little heat just because we did Loctite it. And it looks like that is it's a 2.0. And actually, it's seemingly, I think it's dirty. I'm going to have to get something in there, clean that out, because for the first time, one of my drivers is spinning, but it's only because I'm just grabbing the very edge of the piece. Probably would be better to spray this out with something. Get up maybe like a pick or something in there. I'm going to get a pick in there. See if I can clean that out. That's why I need an air compressor. Had an air compressor, but the air compressor decided to finally take a dump after a number of years of use. So, and it actually feels like it might be stripped out. Dang. Well, that's going to make this rough. Shite. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. I initially wasn't going to try and pull that pin out. Or not the pin. The set screw. The set screw is stripped. I'm not exactly sure why it's stripped, but it is. So inside this case right here, this is just a very basic Craftsman little kit that I picked up a long time ago. I've had this thing for years. I have a few of these. They got different names. Some of them are called screw outs. Some of them called easy outs. I call them easy outs because what it's supposed to do is it works in the opposite direction. It bites a hold of hopefully the surface, and then the intent is to be able to back out the fastener that you're trying to get out. So inside this box, you can see we've got a large one, a medium one, and a small one. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and go for the small one. I'm going to use a quarter-inch socket just to see if I can have some control over this thing and try to back this out literally on camera. So this may be a little tough because that is tough getting inside that little section right there. So we're going to see. And also be very careful because these tools are extremely sharp. So I'm going to see if I can get a bite into it. Let me see, I'm going to go backwards on it. I might be able to get a bite, and I might not. So, but I'm going to try. And it actually is not biting. So what it's doing, it's actually grabbing the pin because it's too big. It's actually grabbing the outside surface. So, yeah. Crap! Alright, so that is definitely a fail, and I'll just say it's a fail. So, gonna have to figure out another way to go ahead and get that. I might have to get a different size fastener. It's gonna be tough, man. Not a fastener. I might have to get a different size easy out if at all possible. But supposedly it is a 2. It's just, the 2 is just done, man. Dang. kind of what I'm doing is I'm trying to attack it. I'm trying to attack it from the side, but because it's a floppy thing, maybe if I go sideways, you know what? Oh. Yeah! This is the fight of a mechanic, man, I'm telling you. This is what happens. So I've got to figure out how to get a good bite on that, especially seeing that it's thread locked. And if I heat it up, I'm going to obviously burn the crap out of my hands. So that's where a glove comes into play, and like literally this is just the fight of what happens. So what I am going to try, I'm going to try my Burns-O-Matic. Obviously got my welding glove on just to help like dissipate the heat. And I'm going to heat obviously that section right there using the blowtane, blowtane. Using the blutane. Man, I can't even say it. Using the Burns-O-Matic. We're going to go ahead and hopefully burn that screw out of there. My God. Of course it didn't start. Come on. I'm just going to go ahead and heat that up to a nice fiery richness. I'm trying to concentrate the heat like literally right into the screw. Just hopefully it will help unlock some of that thread lock. And I'm going to put the tool on kind of a side bite and see if I can get that set screw out of there. And then just go ahead and replace the set screw. So that should be nice and hot. I'm going to grab it with the gloves and try to get a side bite on it and see if I can weasel that set screw out and check it out. I think it worked. And it did. Check that out. Saving the day right there. Getting a side bite on that bad boy. And I was able to get that stripped out stinking screw out of there. So now I can go ahead and find a suitable replacement that's not stripped. Just don't put this on a plastic mat because it's going to literally like melt right through. So there we go. So I was able to get that out of there. I will drizzle another drop of thread lock in there and then install a new set screw. Boy, this whole thing's hot. I did find another set screw with a much deeper bite. The only thing is, and this thing is still a little warm. Warm enough. I can still hold it though. And I just want to see. What I don't want is I don't want there to be collision. And it actually looks like, check that out. That is going to be perfect. So it's a much bigger, well, I want to say it's a much bigger set screw. See how the difference, the comparison between the two set screws? It almost has an extra third of bite. So this set screw is kind of a piece of garbage. Look at how small the bite is actually on that set screw. It's like you can, that's like a strip waiting to happen. With this one, it's got a nice deep hole. So we're going to go with that one. So now that that's out, do I even want to bother pulling my pin out? Yeah, I might as well. Let's see what it looks like. This is my galvanized metal, galvanized nail fix. It is a little stuck in there. So let's pull this nail out. I don't know, man. It's kind of what I expect. To be quite honest with you. There is a little bit of wallow. But that is on the nail itself and not, I think, the hardened roll pin thing here. So I might go ahead and lubricate this. That would probably be a good decision to make. But that is literally a galvanized nail that I used to fix this thing. And it's working out mint. And even look at it. It still looks straight. That was a pretty good redneck repair, man. So I'm going to clean out this cup side. And putting a lubrication in here is definitely going to be a positive move. So clean that out. Looks good now. Check these bearings out real quick. They're just sandy looking. Clean them off with a paper towel. Pretty smooth. They could probably use a little bit of oil, which if I throw these in an oil bath right now, it would impregnate some kind of like oil in there. It's not a true oil bath, but it's what I call it. So that one's all right too. Not bad. Bearings seem to be in very good condition. There's no play. Feels pretty tight. So basically pretty good quality bearings, I would say. Granted, they are shielded, and this thing has been beaten. But oiling these up would definitely be a good move. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put this in the solution, just to kind of like clean it up. Same thing with this end right here. And from memory, this is the, from memory, I believe this is, yeah, this is the FID or whatever the heck FLM replacement shaft. I can't remember what the manufacturer is, but this is the replacement shaft. I believe this is the factory original. Yeah, so this is actually the original cup. So try and just check it to see if it's wallowed out this way. It does kind of look that way. You know what? I might keep that nail. You know, I was going to cut a new nail, but you know what? I'm going to leave it. It's going to rip. I'll just throw some lubrication in there. Maybe I can dress this up with a little bit of sandpaper. Because obviously, being not a hardened steel pen, it does kind of have like burred edges on there. But you know what? Keep like changing my mind here. I think I'm just going to lubricate it. So I'm going to go ahead and basically do everything that I said that I wasn't going to do. And I'm just going to literally reinstall it together. I'm not even going to clean nothing. I'm going to leave it the way it is. This is a test. All right. Just lay down a nice clean paper towel here. Move those shims, don't lose them. Throw in the parts we're going to need. Clean these shims off. And wherever the new set screws already loaded in the tool. So obviously in this, uses the factory bearings. And I'm going to do one step that this is just something that I do. I'm not telling anybody to do what I do, but this is definitely just something that I do. So I take a 25 weight shock oil that I've got, and what I'll do is I'll actually pop the bearing out, and I'm going to put a couple drizzles of oil right inside that pocket. And in my mind, what that does is it just keeps the inside section kind of lubricated, and it might draw dust and stuff eventually, but if you do regular maintenance like you should, there shouldn't be any issue. So that is just something that I happen to do. So we've got that piece there. Inside the bag here, like I said, gives you a pack of 8 bearings. It looks like it's a double stack of bearings. So we're going to need 4 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They actually give you shims too. Look at that. Wow. This thing even gives you little bearing shims. You got to be kidding me. So what you're doing is potentially, are you shimming the bearing? So that's almost what I think you're doing. they give you, looks like they give you 3 shims, 4 shims. Okay. 4 shims and no instructions. Alright, so they give you 4 shims. So maybe like online or something? Oh, wait a minute. Installation tips. Lubricate moving components. That's it. Just doesn't say anything. So it does give you 4 shims, so we're going to have to figure out exactly where we want those 4 shims to go. Depending upon how this goes, the potential might be to shim. God, it's almost like you'd shim in between the bearings, but you know what I'm saying? I wonder if that's what... No, it's not in between. Because what I can't see is I can't see if that's a raised surface. Because the inner race and the outer race should literally be the same exact thing, so it kind of like... I'm not sure what's going on here. Seems to be some kind of an issue using the remote button on the thing. So what I had done was I went through the whole process of basically talking about installing the bearings, installing the double pack of bearings on the top and bottom, and basically just because there's only 4 shims, I guess that's where buying the actual C-hub to go along with this makes like that much more sense, but this is the route that we're going. So yeah, that's it. All right, just gonna move on. Now I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall or put this thing back together. I will lubricate inside. That way, hopefully, yeah, you know what I'm getting at. So basically just reinstall this and get this thing back to running order. All right, there we go again. So what I usually do to aid in the installation of these boots is I actually use hairspray. Just do a quick little spray in there. Obviously this boot is going to go this way. What it does is just lubricates, so you can basically just kind of pull this over and hopefully not destroy the actual boot. So see, so just like that. Kind of move that into position, hopefully something like that, and that should seal that area. Can't remember if that's supposed to be over that or yeah, I actually don't remember. Can't remember if it's actually supposed to be over the knuckle or I'm just gonna go with that. But and then same thing, basically the reverse operation, but what I'll do is I'll actually spray this end, push the boot inside out without mangling it. So basically all I'm trying to do is... So I'm just going to spray basically on there and force feed this boot kind of over that way. Kind of a same thing. And to just see if I can stretch that over and then basically reverse the boot in on itself like that. And hopefully it'll reverse all the way. So that's usually how I do it. So this one I'll obviously stuff all the way that way for now. And then I can go ahead and yeah. Now we can go ahead with the reinstallation of these parts. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this pin in. And I will install this part with this pin. Again, this is just a galvanized nail. And it worked 100%. So now I'm going to go ahead, keep my fingers on the edge of there. Grab the bottle of Loctite. And I take the Loctite and squeeze it right into that hole. Just like that. Then take the new fastener, Get some Loctite on it, and then just jam it right in. And then give it a crank. Just like that. Now that should be the fix. Wipe off the excess Loctite. Just like that. And then, like I said, what I wanted to do is I did want to put a lubricant in there this time. You can see how the Loctite is in with the pin, so it's definitely going to do its job. I would recommend allowing this to cure, but I don't have time for that. So what I'm going to do is use my blowtorch and kind of this must be getting low. Just kind of semi-burn off some of the Loctite that's in there. That's all I'm doing is just kind of burning it off. That's it. Not getting rid of it in the threads. It's just kind of just getting it out of there. Good enough. So now I'll go ahead and I'll lubricate this joint. This is the stuff that I'm going to use to lubricate that. It is a disc parts lubricant. Disc brake lubricant from Permatex. I'm going to go ahead and just literally slam it in there. Just like that. Let's get it nice and in there. Take the extra. Force feed it right in there. Let it do its little lubrication thing. Hopefully, this is going to be like what people say, just what the doctor ordered. So hopefully this is going to be the solve for that. I am going to go ahead and take this boot, slide it over. I could do that thing that Steel City RC does, but for some reason with this pin doesn't go anywhere, so I'm just going to go ahead and slide this boot over without destroying it. Just like that. Just like that. And then basically, this joint is now, I guess you could say, highly lubricated. So, have a suspicion I'm supposed to be putting that over that little flange. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just like that. So, and then that joint will stay, like we said, nice and lubricated. So hopefully that's going to work out. So just like a real CVD or CV joint. Nice and lubed up. Protected. You know what I'm actually seeing? It almost looks like it wants to be the other way. So, yeah, you know what? I think it's supposed to be over that nub. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it over that nub. Kind of almost seems like that's how it wants to be. Yeah, that's definitely how that wants to be. So we're going to leave that like that. Don't forget your shims. One shim goes on one side. Then obviously you're going to install it into the actual piece. But we'll leave that and we'll go over there and take apart the that actual knuckle end. Right, now we're going to go ahead and take apart, obviously, my blown out repair. I'm going to take off the steering link and obviously basically the top and bottom kingpins. Now we'll go after the top and bottom. The only thing that may be an issue is I wonder if this is actually going to come apart. And looks like it might. And it's not. Alright, so what had happened was I'm going to have to get a little wrench in there. So on these parts here, if you look right inside of there, you can see how the lock nut is actually captured. Well, unfortunately, the pin destroyed the captured portion. So when I go to try and remove it, all it wants to do, I think, is spin in place. Oh, check it out. The bottom one is actually all right. Wow. Now that was some luck right there. All right. So see how the threads got nailed? So amazingly, that's actually all right. So it looks like a 5/16. Actually fits that perfect. Just don't know if I've got the room in there to get that. And oh, it's close. So right in there, basically I just need to get the tool right there. Check it out. Now, I'm gonna get my finger in the way. I think this is gonna work. Check it out. Beautiful. There we go. So look at that. Wow. A little bushing. So I wonder if the bushing is something that's being reused. Because there is a top and bottom bushing. I'm going to pop them out just because it might be something that's getting used. There's obviously no instruction. But this is the damage. So basically all it did was the screw finally popped through. So but that thing did its job, man, I'm telling you. But you could see how the little captured piece here got mangled. The C-hub itself looks like it's in okay shape. So that little bushing piece is used. So what that means is... So it's just like I said, it's just that one bushing or that one shim that you're going to put on, that you're actually going to put on here. So you got the one shim that stinking goes on there. Oh my God. And it's going in top and bottom like this. And then this can get installed like that. Go ahead and go in at the top. And we'll go in through the bottom. Oop. Making sure that the nut actually does its job. Well, that thing's wiped out. See, the camera's in the way here. You probably can't see anything anyway. So what's the point, guy? Alright. Trying to make sure. Alright, how about if I pop that bearing out of there? That way I can get my finger in there. Make sure that this fastener actually goes in. I might have to chase, you know what? I might have to chase those threads. Yep. Yep, I'm gonna have to chase those threads. Dang it. So obviously what's happening is because the threads are mangled, it's not wanting to catch. So I'm going to do it by hand, and I'm going to see if I can force that to thread on right now. So that seems like it worked. Now go ahead and place this back into its pocket, which is kind of tough. So it seems like that's in there. Go ahead and reinstall this. Yep, there we go. That's it. Now I can go ahead and go after the top one. Doing that same thing, use my finger, kind of get that into place. And then hopefully this will just line up. And there we go. Nice. It's got a nice feel to it. And now I can go ahead and install that, I believe, onto there. Just like that. Go ahead and install the bearings. Bam, just like that. Now what I'll do is I'll flop away the top, just like a regular install. So I'm just gonna basically just pop that out, just kind of make it like easier for myself. I'm gonna spray that spray inside, obviously, so that I can get the boot to fit over. So the intent was to hopefully flop this away. I hope that's going to be enough. Might not be. So there's a pin at the front here. And then go ahead and pop that pin out. Place my shim onto the shaft. Take the hairspray. I'm basically going to fill that whole pocket with some hairspray just to keep it slick. Watch out that you don't lose the shim like I almost just did. Slide that into place. Looks good. I'm going to pop that out. Kind of see if I can weasel it in. And this is where it's going to be kind of a pain, is trying to get that onto, trying to get the boot onto the thing. That's what I've had issues before. So I'm actually going to pop the body. Maybe I'll remove the shock too. It's the access. It's hard getting in there. So get the shock out of the way. There we go. Look at that. Opened it right up. You see what I'm saying? See how it's like kind of difficult to get in there? So I got that lined up on the bottom. What a disaster. Maybe if I should just put the stinking... Alright, let's get that boot on there. Worry about lining that stupid pin up after the fact. Come on, guy. You've done this like a bunch of times. What are you doing? Playing around here. Come on, get on. There we go. Alright, what the stuff is supposed to do, the hairspray, is what the hairspray is supposed to do is it's supposed to help keep the boot into place once it's installed. Kind of almost glues it into place. And in my mind, it also oddly provides a little bit of lubrication. So you can see now it's in there. Looks like I lost my shim. No, I didn't. I actually might have taken... Did I lose my shim again? Did I lose the shim? I don't even know. Nope. Alright. So now go ahead. What a mess. We'll reinstall the shim onto the axle. Oh my goodness. Reinstall that. Reinstall the pin. Trust me, I've done this before. Alright. Settle that C-hub into place. Drive that pin all the way forward. Go ahead and put that pin retainer screw back in. Find the bearing that I lost. Reinstall the bearing. Don't forget your shim. Grab our hex. Make sure we know where our hole is. There it is. Throw the pin in there. And go ahead and tighten that set screw in there with the aid of the 24. Give it a crank. Now go ahead and install the upper link. Now reinstall the shock. It came out, it's going in. Come on! Now I'm just going to use a driver just to try to line that pin up and drive it home. That's it. There we go. New hot racing hub installed in the DBXLE 2.0. Now we're going to go ahead and attack the other side, but yeah. So it actually is way easier to do than that. This was obviously time consuming because you know why, because of this thing right here, the dang camera. But anyways, if you like episodes like this from RC Guy Garage, literally just showing you upgrading the DBXLE with a nice hot racing, nice piece of what they call that, a nice piece of candy. Some people call it a piece of kit, but that is definitely right there. That is a nice piece of what they call candy. And hopefully that will solve the issue that I had with the DBXLE 2.0 on, I can't remember how many rips it was, but I got to tell you, the original plastic pieces did take the abuse for quite a while, and they could only take just so many times lawn darting. So, yeah. Now we've got these bigger tires and wheels on here from the with the Pro lines from the X-Max. Drill out the centers. Definitely going to be a lot more stress on these parts, and hopefully this piece right here, the actual C-hub, hopefully this is going to take the abuse, because now we're taking all the twists that may have been in this piece right here, and now we literally just put it to here. So, yeah, like I said, if you like episodes like this from RC Guy Garage, you point blank already know what to do. Just point blank, get out and rip it.